Our laws, as it pertains to substances, are draconian and bizarre. The psychopaths start this way. He was an alcoholic because of social media and pornography, PTSD, love addiction, fentanyl and heroin. Ridiculous. I'm a doctor, for sake. Where the hell do you think I learned that? I'm just saying, you go to treatment before you kill people. I am a clinician. I observe things about these chemicals. Let's just deal with what's real. We used to get these calls on Loveline all the time. Educate adolescents and to prevent and to treat. If you have trouble you can't stop and you want help stop it, I can help. I got a lot to say. I got a lot more to say.
Hey everyone, and welcome. We see you on Clubhouse, and of course we're watching on the restream as well at the same time. Thank you all for being here. I'm seeing people pile in, and we should.
Caleb and I were laughing yesterday because we go from Nobel, how do you say, Peace Prize winners to, or
to fart jars.
To fart, yeah.
That's right. We run the gamut here.
Fart. Wait, can you just say that because I couldn't put it.
We go from a Nobel Peace Prize recipient to fart jars. We like being a little rangy, as they say. We like anything that interests us. We like going.
Yeah, the plug at the end. Sorry, I did not deliver that joke very well. But also, everybody at Clubhouse, congrats! You got to witness Drew's after show experience.
There was about 7 people.
They all stayed on.
Ilana sent me a nice coy email. Maybe you're aware, but your Clubhouse was on. It's like, yeah, I'm aware. Good times. It's like
you were selling your farts.
4 stupidest words in broadcasting. Is this thing on? That's it. That's the absolute 4 stupidest words.
Oh my God.
And there you go. And the Clubhouse is kind of a weird thing because after I unplug everything, I don't think about it as still being on. But
I know.
It can be.
It's okay.
So here we go. Today, so we talked to Dr. Peter Hotez yesterday. I thought that was kind of interesting.
He was amazing.
Although Adam excoriated me today on our podcast.
Why?
He told me he was a fearmonger and a terrible person. And he was only negative. And I thought, look, he's a peer, number one.
Lives every day.
He's a peer. He's got a great new product and the vaccine he's promoting. And he has a negative bias. His bias was negative, and he's a pediatrician. So he's worrying about adult neurological problems that he really doesn't have any judgment about.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to go any further into it, but I'm a victim of the COVID brain injury.
Yeah.
And I'm fine.
I think I am too. I couldn't put those words together.
No, but you just go ahead and blame it on that. That's good. but the fact is that although there were some observations, and I didn't want to get in the weeds on this yesterday, but all there have been observations on brain shrinkage after COVID, there's brain shrinkage after a lot of severe illnesses in adults, particularly older adults.
Yeah.
And guess what? It gets better. It comes back. It's a sort of a gray matter thing.
French or something,
right? You can work your way through it quickly.
Which you should do anyways if you're older.
That absolutely true, and that is a perfect lead into our guest, Stephanie Matto. She is Czech and she speaks fluent Czech, and Susan is Czech, and Mike Catherwood's wife is Czech,
and Czechs.
And so, the
great Czech women.
The two, Susan and Bianca, do not speak Czech, but for Stephanie, it is her first language.
So awesome.
We may make her.
I wish I knew it.
I know. Well, one day maybe if you can. I
can say depuis.
I can say depuis also, which is thank you. And Stephanie's over there laughing her ass off, I'm sure, at our fluency. But Stephanie is from 90 Day Fiancé, and. She was, she was actually a 90 Day Fiancé. It was not a before the 90 days. It was not after the 90 days. She was 90 Day Fiancé. And Susan and I, during the pandemic, particularly, Tom Segura got me strung out on 90 Day Fiancé. And because he kept asking questions about the couples and the whatever.
Right. When he used to be on the show all the time.
Right. And I go, I don't know. Who are these people? And so he goes, you need to watch. And so we did. And we are hooked until
we got addicted
until the present day.
The whole family's like, oh my God, there's a new 90 Day Fiancé on today. Let's go.
To the present moment.
And we all pile on the couch like the Simpsons. And woo.
We remain victims of that reality program.
It's terrible.
Well, don't tell Stephanie it's terrible.
No,
Stephanie,
I mean it's really an addiction.
The addiction is terrible.
Like you want to see the train wreck, and you want to see the happiness. You want to see the wedding. You want to see. It's like it's so cute. It's a good show.
All right, and so Stephanie made a splash on that show because she was the first same-sex couple that the show explored. Both she and her partner were very literally colorful. And most recently, she has been in the news because she is a web star of sorts. She'll tell you about her web history, and she is of the new economy for sure. And part of that is she's learned to sell actual flatulence in a jar, and now an NFT, which you can find at fart jars, plural, fartjarsnft.com. Welcome, Stephanie Matto.
Hello.
There you
How
are.
are you?
Good. How was that intro?
That was great. You summed it all up.
So we need you to speak a little Czech just so people understand how wild that language is and that it is your first language. So just say thank you for having me on the program, something like that.
Dobrý večer, jmenuji se Stefanie a já prodávám svoje prdy. I said,
so jealous.
good evening, my name is Stephanie and I sell my farts. Děkuji.
Please put that on a loop. Nobody else has it. That's your NFT right there. sell the. Well, Caleb, I hear you ringing in here. You're kind of you come from the same heritage as Stephanie has mastered. I wonder if you have any questions from
the internet. Well, it would be great if we could get if she wants to explain to the people what an NFT actually is for the people that aren't familiar. I want to hear what her perspective is on it.
Beautiful.
So NFT stands for non-fungible token, and it's a piece of artwork that is sold through the blockchain. It can be purchased with cryptocurrency and can be redeemed for some real asset things such as, access to something, access to an event. You can keep it, hold on to it. It can go up in value. You can resell it. It's kind of like a virtual version of like a baseball trading card, if that's like a good way for people to grasp the concept. So yeah, and it can come in all forms. It could be a photo, it could be a sound, it can be a digital drawing. And in my case, it's a digital drawing of a fart jar.
Of course it is. Caleb, does that get it?
Yeah, that makes sense. That seems to be what I understand. Like the way I understand it is a lot of people, they're basically taking art that they create, putting it on the blockchain, and then selling that as a digital asset. So you don't actually own the copyright for the original, but you're the internet's owner of that specific listing on the blockchain. And I think it's especially important because Twitter recently added, I don't know if you've seen that yet, Drew, where you can change your profile photo to an NFT that you own, and it gives you like a different shaped profile photo, and you click on it and it shows where it is in the blockchain and all that. So all these companies are getting on board with it legitimately.
So Caleb's going to advise me how to create an NFT one of these days. It will not be a fart jar, I'm here to tell you, but congratulations on yours. So how did the fart jar occur to you? I smell, well, smell is an unfortunate choice of words, but I sense the presence of males going, I need this from you. I need that from you. Please give me this. Why won't you? And then you said, okay, $50 or for highest bidder or whatever. So tell me how this happened. I know men. I know how they are.
I have been on YouTube. I've been on the internet for about 8 years now, and I've, gotten a large following of mostly men, and they've, given me some pretty crazy requests in my time. And I've gotten requests from bras, lingerie, panties. Craziest? I mean, I think that, I guess that's like a perspective. Maybe the craziest would be people wanting photos of like my uvula. So that's like a weird fetish that some people have, a uvula fetish. I think that farts are definitely up there. People have asked me for my feces in a jar, which I will not do. That's like where I think I draw the line. But yeah, farts are among the weirdest things that people have requested from me. And I got requests for a long time for those sorts of things, because I think that people just like want to feel like they have every kind of experience with me possible. They view me, they listen to my stories on YouTube, they may get an article of my clothing, they feel like they're closer to me, they smell me, they watch my videos of me. So I think the farts are just like another way for them to feel closer to me.
But wait, Susan is cracking up. I'm just curious what's going on in that mind of hers. So what? Hang on a second. Well, she's off mic right now, but what
I
were
know.
you,
I'm looking for my C's candy. I'm hungry.
what were you laughing at?
I was, in which I'm trying not
Well,
to
it's
eat.
funny, but you found it especially
I
funny.
feel closer to her. It's pretty funny.
Well, no,
It's
what men want
men,
is
and it's mostly men, right?
it's
I mean,
all
how
men.
many?
It's all men.
No, it is. Okay.
Men want a sensory experience. It's sort of, and so they just want to feel like they're specially connected to her in some way.
Right, and they can get their hands on you, even though you've never met any of these guys.
Well, there are two that I communicate with on a regular basis that I feel like I'm friends with at this point because they spent so much money. And, I think for a lot of them also, it's not like a sensory thing, but it's actually a financial domination thing. Like there's so many weird mental components to the fart jar thing that I can't even really wrap my head around.
Well, give me what you mean by that. And by the way, those guys are not your friends. Be careful. but what do you mean the financial domination? What does that mean? Like I can get you to do anything if I pay you, kind of thing?
I think it's like some men just like to feel being taken advantage of by a beautiful woman. It's like
a dominatrix thing.
On me, take my money.
Yeah. Oh no.
Yeah, right. Like there's actual websites
telling me I'm ugly.
Yeah, exactly. And so I think that there's even websites that are purely dedicated to financial domination. And these men, they're referred to as pay pigs. Such a strange term. And so
it's
I think
kind of like exotic dancing.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, like
and I
exotic
think
dancing is a little bit like that.
I agree. And I think
Stephanie,
that
sorry.
Go ahead. Let me just explain something. There's a little delay here, and so when I speak, it'll block. It may stop you in the middle of something. Just keep going. I will automatically stop. Once I realize that's happening. But I will tell you, Stephanie needs to be at your mom's house. I mean, I see this now. We need to bring her to your mom's house. For sure. Oh my God! But finish what you were saying. I'm sorry.
So I think that the financial domination aspect of it is pretty big in a lot of the cases, a lot of the sales. Then there's also the novelty, the fact that I'm on a reality show. I have some pretty loyal fans that have stuck by me for many years that, purchase everything I do. Like if I put out some merchandise, they'll buy it just simply out of brand loyalty to me. So there's a lot of that.
Are they, let me ask you a tough question. You can answer it any way you please. Do you worry that some of these guys are like in love with you and this is sort of kind of exploiting that a little bit? Or do you feel bad about that at all? Or do you try to tell them, look, do you try to set boundaries with them so they're not sort of, they're adults, they can do what they want, but you tell them like, no, don't go there.
I have run into some issues like that with some people who just don't know boundaries and who I'm sorry, guys. 1 second. My dog is scratching on something. What's going on?
Wait, let me mute my mic. I don't want to. I'm laughing.
No, Susan, we like you.
I think it's screwing
No. What were you thinking when you were laughing about that?
They don't have boundaries. No shit.
Does this?
And my dog is going nuts.
Oh, I'm sorry about that.
Tell him he needs to get some boundaries over there.
Yeah. So Susan was laughing at the no boundaries because women have to deal with this stuff a lot, and it's kind of interesting to me. And
why not make money off of it?
Well, that's people can make their own choices on that, but
it's a cool side hustle. I'm pretty impressed.
Thank you. I think that I've had stalkers in the past. I've had people who are very unhinged and lonely and don't have boundaries at all. So with those people, I have to really just set the record straight and let them know that at the end of the day, this is a transaction and you're paying for a product, a service, and that's all it is, and I don't owe anyone anything more beyond that.
Mm-hmm. Does it give you, a lot of people that are engaged in these sorts of exchanges with men end up not thinking the best about men. Does it, are you gay now? Are you bisexual? And if either way, does it affect your feelings about men?
I'm bisexual, and wow, that's a very deep question. I don't think I've even thought of that myself. I feel maybe on a subconscious level, it is affecting the way I think of men. Like, for example,
It has to.
Of course, yeah. If I had a boyfriend and I found out he was buying fart jars for $500 online, not sure I would love that. So,
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. So it kind of sucks to be in that position, I guess. But I just kind of close my eyes and think, you know what? That's their business. If, hopefully that they're single, or, if they are in a relationship, that it's like that there's communication, and that they know where the money is being spent, and that, it's a fetish for some people. So hopefully the wife, the girlfriend is okay with that. I think
Well, it's
that
interesting. It's interesting. You're taking the position that you're not saying, "Oh my God, men are disgusting." You're saying, "I hope they're not violating the trust of a partner engaging in this goofy stuff," which is interesting.
Yeah,
Here's my dog. He's here now.
that's
Rex
my
is
biggest
here.
concern.
Come on, Rex.
Because I think that, I'm the founder of an 18 and up website. And so there is a lot of 18 and up, not safe for work content on there. And one of the things I think about is, how does pornographic content affect relationships? And, it can be unhealthy, I think. It can be addictive. So, there's ways to consume it in a healthy way where it doesn't take over your life. And I hope that there isn't a guy out there who's spending his kid's college fund on my farts. So
I hope not. How much is the NFT going for now? Do you have a going rate for it?
So the NFT of the fart jars, there's 5,000. We've minted almost 1,000 of them so far, and they're going for 0.05 Ethereum, which is almost,
I don't know what
I think it's about like $150 roughly.
Okay, interesting.
Mm-hmm.
And you've, my understanding, I heard Howard Stern talking about your jar distributions, and he reported that you made somewhere around $200,000 selling the jars. Is that accurate?
Yep. So that's not counting the money that's going to go into shipping and handling, and, all of the products that I use that go into making the jars and supplies. So, and then of course, taxes, which I've now just started to think about. So, I think like at the end of the day, it's about, I would say, closer to $150,000 that I've made off of the fart jars in a matter of a couple of months.
Plus you have to pay tax. Also, I have a question. How do you get a fart into a jar?
Well, that's going to be the next kind of topic. Which
is that were you going to go there? Wait, and then also.
So I'm glad Susan asked it, not me. It would have been rude for me to ask that.
I just want
to
make sure. Yeah, it would be weird if you asked her. So let me ask from a woman's perspective.
So the best way I have found is by taking these little fabric flower petals, and I bought a huge bag of them, and I would just fart directly onto the flower petal, and then kind of just rub it around the area, and then put it inside of the jar. I felt that if the molecular part of the fart could latch onto something like a piece of fabric, it would be more likely to stay than if I just farted into a jar.
So you have to have kind of a juicy fart then.
No, she didn't say that. She said that she's just looking for particles. So,
yeah.
And are the...
Sorry, I had to go there.
And put Susan back up there again, because you can see the ethnic,
I want a longer version of my face, though. I don't like that little box.
But look at the ethnic familiar. You see that?
Like
Does she look familiar to you, Stephanie, in terms of her Czech heritage? Do you see what I'm saying?
Definitely tell. Yeah, it's the smile, the high cheekbones. We have the squinty eyes, kind of.
Yeah,
very
squinty eyes.
Yeah.
Yes, we do. So, my other question is like, okay, so it does smell like roses to my husband, I know. So putting the petal in the jar is like a great idea. But if you when you were trying to get all this gas, I know that you were eating a lot of protein bars.
Yeah, she got sick.
And which is a way to produce it. Just Drew, just in case you want to start, selling your farts. I want to let you know.
Thank you. But so you ended up having some sort of esophageal spasm or something? Is that, you thought you were having a heart attack? So it's something up in the upper gastrointestinal tract. Was it a spasm in the
Sure.
esophagus?
I honestly don't 100% know, but that whole day I had like 3 protein shakes and I had a protein muffin. I had a ton of black bean soup. And by the evening time, I was feeling tightness in my chest. And every time I breathed in, I would feel like a spasming feeling and a tightening around my chest. And, I also have anxiety. I had just started a new form of birth control. So in my head, I'm like, I'm having a heart attack or I'm having a blood clot or something bad is happening.
Yeah.
So
Sure.
I,
Well, the blood clot's an important thought.
yeah. And I had
Mm.
just literally started the birth control, and I'm kind of, I think, at a high risk for blood clot because of like a pre-existing condition I have. So I just didn't want to take any chances. I called my friend. I had my friend take me to the emergency room and they admitted me right away. They did 2 tests. They did an EKG and they did like a blood panel that detects if you have a blood clot or if you're likely to have a blood clot. And
Right.
and then they asked me questions about, what I'm doing, what my diet's like, what kind of new medication I'm on. When I told them that I'm taking the new birth control, they seemed alarmed. So that stressed me out even more.
Sure.
But
Sure.
all of the results came back perfectly fine. And they had no choice other than to just let me go home. And the doctor just said,
Sure.
hey, based off of what you told me you've been eating today, it really sounds like you have really severe gas pains that are just like pushing up everything, maybe like a reflux issue. So I went home, I took a Gas X and a Tums, and I fell asleep. So I was exhausted and humiliated. at
Damn,
the
all
same time.
that hard work undone with a Gas X. So the blood test is called a D-dimer test to see if you had a pulmonary embolus. That's sort of what the reference is. How is your mom doing? We saw her a lot at least on the sort of pillow talk stuff you guys do over at 90 Day Fiance. How does she feel about your source of income?
It took her a little while to come around to it. She's a traditional Czech woman, but I do really well for myself. Like I support my whole family. I take us on nice vacations. And so I think that they're kind of just like, you know what? She does what she does, but she's making a good living and nobody's getting hurt in the process except, myself occasionally. So I think that they've learned to accept it.
Your esophagus and I worry about your eternal soul in terms of you feeling being that's I literally when people get involved in these activities, I worry that it depletes them in ways that they're not actively aware of. That's why I was asking about men and stuff. But
I think it's funny.
Well, she has a pretty
You
good
have to have a
attitude
good
about it.
sense of humor.
Yeah, and so
and then be able to handle the press. Did you take any?
Oh, yeah.
Well,
take
how's
any
that going
S
for
from
you?
anybody?
Yeah, how's that go?
Oh man. Well, I mean, there's so much cyberbullying. There's so many people messaging me, giving me death threats, and some of the media has been pretty brutal and harsh. It's always hard when you have like a YouTuber with millions of followers making a video completely ripping you to shreds, and then everybody in the comments agreeing with them. But I am like so conditioned and trained from years of being online to really just like let something in one ear and out the other and not let it affect me. I think I'm like pretty numb to a lot of things. And I'm just so I'm so professional when it comes to like the online stuff. It's just like it's like clocking in at work and then clocking out. And I'm a totally different person when I'm online.
Isn't it? And couple things. It's interesting to me how the internet has done this to us, that it's sort of stolen a piece of our ability to relate as human beings, and then people that are in the media have to like just take the punches, ignore it, all the things you're talking about doing.
Our chat people love you. Somebody said you're hot. Who cares what people say? Another guy said they love it. I'm intrigued. Like, wow, this is cool. How How many
Aw.
somebody says, how many fart jars have people bought?
How
Like,
many jars?
how repeat fart jar buyers have you had?
There's one guy in Austria who bought like 5. So he's definitely a fan. And he's messaged me ever since I retired. He's like, so when are you going to start selling them again? And I'm just like, listen, I think I'm done. Why don't you get a fart jar NFT instead?
Aw.
You're depriving this young man, or maybe old man, who knows? You're like, whatever. That's the way it is.
Those Austrians.
So, and by the way, Stephanie's Instagram is Stepanka, Stepanka, Matto, Matto. That's Stepanka Matto. And you had a history of aplastic anemia, and I'm kind of intrigued by that. Did you have a bone marrow transplant or something? Because that is a very, very serious illness.
Yes. And I had a severe case of aplastic anemia. When I was diagnosed, I was like platelets 5,000, hemoglobin 3, like very, very sick. I was put on the transplant list, but I don't have a full match in the registry and I don't have a perfect sibling match. So I actually had immunosuppressive therapy in the form of cyclosporin and horse ATG, which is literally when they pump you full of horse proteins to like shut down your entire immune system and reboot it. So I went through 3 years of my life where I was like bubble girl and was very sick and in and out of cancer hospitals, but still working from home the whole time, still doing what I'm doing, not selling farts, but, you know, doing sexy photos from the hospital bed.
Wow.
So, yeah.
Wow. How old were you then?
When I was diagnosed, I was 26. I'm now, oh my gosh, it's been a long time. I'm 31. It's just time
So
has
5
flown.
years.
I feel
Oh
like
my
I've
God.
I feel like I've lost a part of my youth from being sick because there was like so much
Oh,
that I
sure.
was limited to doing.
Oh,
I
in your
couldn't do it.
20s? That's terrible.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
it made me really grateful for a lot in my life. You know, spending a lot of time in cancer hospitals, you see so many people who are much more sick than you. And so I think it made me a stronger person, made me so much more grateful. And, you know, I'm so grateful to have my health now. That's why when this whole fart jar thing happened, as soon as I was like, I'm not feeling good, I'm like, all right, I'm done. Like, I'm done doing this to myself. I'm not going to mess with my body.
Right, right. Oh, that's interesting. So that was it was those physical experiences that was the end of the fart jar project.
Yeah,
It's odd to me that you.
it's traumatic for me to go to a hospital because, you know, when they were doing those blood tests, it's like I'm getting, you know, all of these memories, flashbacks of when I went to the hospital years ago and I'm waiting for those test results. And it was just, you know, at that point I was like, that's why I really was like, this isn't worth it to be putting my body under so much stress for money.
It's a little odd that you had a complete resolution with the cyclosporin. Did they have a theory as to why you responded? Like, was this like a lupus type syndrome or something, or what did they think it was?
So their theory was, although they said it was idiopathic, and, you know, no known cause, they think that a virus entered my body, got me sick, and then, you know, altered my T cells to then attack my bone marrow. And my bone marrow was very, very damaged. The cyclosporin, it took a very long time for it to work. I had a partial remission about 7 months into treatment, and then I relapsed. And then it took another 2 years after that to reach full remission. So, and there was even a point during my treatment that my doctor sat down and they were like, this isn't really working as well as we want it to. And we're concerned because you don't have a bone marrow match. So I was a very, very slow responder to the cyclosporin treatment. And I'm still actually on cyclosporin. And I most likely will be on it for the rest of my life. But it's a relatively small dose of it.
Oh, you're on it still now.
Yeah.
That's interesting. is now one of the, it's called, we call these cytotoxic therapies, cytoxan, cyclophosphamide. Oh, it's cyclophosphamide. Wait a minute. Wait. I see. Cyclophosphamide is a little different. So that's something you can stay on long term. And it doesn't affect, I was thinking about cyclophosphamide, I think, which affects fertility. This does not affect fertility, does it?
It does not, but pregnancy can cause aplastic anemia. So I think that's one of the concerns with me getting pregnant in the future is me relapsing. It's like a 30% relapse rate for pregnant women, for women with aplastic anemia who are in remission if they were to get pregnant again. So I am trying, to think of other ways of having children in the future, such as surrogacy. So gotta save that fart jar money. Gotta use that for something.
Well, yeah. You better quick get back to the jars. So
wait, we had some late comers to the stream.
Hold on before you ask the questions. So you're talking about egg harvesting, and the sooner you do that, the better too, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So I do have frozen eggs actually, which is quite
good.
lucky.
Okay, good. Well done. Super smart. Okay, Susan, go ahead.
So we have late comers to the stream.
Okay.
They want to know how you bottle your fart again.
Oh, they're back to the process.
I know, it's the
they
same
seem
question.
Fascinated with the process.
Yeah.
The procedure.
They're like, how do you do that? Like everybody who's new.
So and Susan, Annie's in the house.
Annie probably wants to know too.
Yeah,
I'm sure. Well, he doesn't want to know, but
well, he likes your house, and he figures that he just said that you must be doing very well in this endeavor, and
they
so
must
he
smell
likes
pretty
it.
good.
Yeah, right. So for the newcomers, for the newcomers, you can go through it again if you wish.
Yes. So I purchased these little fabric flowers, and I will just directly fart onto the fabric flower petals, rub them around the area, really get that smell in there, and then put it into the jar, seal it. And then I sometimes will tape it, saran wrap it, put it in a Ziploc container, and then it goes into the package and gets sent out.
Why not just make it easy on yourself? Just put it in an envelope. The guys that want this will probably want it just as much out of an envelope as a jar. I know it's a nicer presentation with the jar, but it's more work for you.
I know, but it's like when I'm charging that kind of price, I feel like I want it to look like it's expensive.
Is shipping included? Somebody wanted to know. I guess you have some more buyers.
It is.
Yeah, but she's out of the fart jar. She's out of the fart jar business, guys. She's. I don't. What would persuade?
We're gonna bottle yours and Annie's.
Is that Annie doesn't produce? You forget Annie is a ninja.
I know.
And Annie, I know you're on this stream here.
We could sell for a lot more money.
Seriously have to get Stephanie over at your mom's house. I think she has a window into a world of cool guys that we talk about, and she'd be a very important source of information for us. Yeah. So have you ever seen your mom's house sort of platform? They sort of look at people's odd behavior and try to make sense of it, and then they send them over to me to further try to make sense of it. Oh my God, Annie is funny.
He did not want to know.
No, he didn't want to
all
know.
in caps. I do not want to know. He wouldn't allow his significant other to fart in the morning. They'd have to go outside to do it.
That was Annie's thing. Yeah.
That's why he and I'll never work out.
That's why he's not, he wouldn't do well living very long in Austria. and there's there's a lot of ethnic crossover between Czech and Austria, right? There's sort of a common heritage biologically, right? Yeah.
Yeah, we're right on the border.
Well, it's sort of the Austro-Hungarian time, the northern part of that. And so it's interesting to me that your biggest
Czechs are smarter though.
Well, I don't know Austrians that well. I know Czechs are very smart.
We're prettier.
Yeah, I would agree with that. But Austrians do okay.
I think they make better porns there too.
In Austria or Czech?
No, in Czech.
Oh my God, Annie, make a note of this for next time I come to Austin. All right, let's take a little break here.
I've heard.
Take a little break, and we're going to be back with Stephanie Matto. Let me get her particulars again. It is Instagram at StepankaMatto. And if you want to get the NFTs going rather than the actual jars themselves, it is fartjarsnft.com. We're going to take a little break and back with more Stephanie after this. Since the beginning of the pandemic, nearly 1 in 5 Americans has reported consuming an unhealthy amount of alcohol. Could be you, but only 10% of them are actually getting the help they need. Reframe is a neuroscience-based smartphone app that helps users cut back or quit drinking alcohol altogether. Using evidence-based tools, techniques, and content, Reframe guides users through a personalized program to help them reach their goals. Comprised of daily tasks, a comprehensive toolkit, a community forum, and accountability guides, Reframe is a modern, accessible, and affordable resource that can help anyone looking to reevaluate their relationship with alcohol. Reframe is backed by Harvard University and Emory University Schools of Medicine, and it is ranked the #1 alcohol reduction smartphone app worldwide with over 350,000 downloads. With Reframe, there's no stigma, just science, no labels, just support. To learn more, go to joinreframeapp.com/Dr. Drew. Use the code Dr. Drew for 25% off your first month or your annual subscription. That's at joinreframeapp.com/Dr. Drew. Let's talk about our friends at Hydralyte. I can't say enough about Hydralyte. You hear me talk about them all the time. It gets me through workouts and medical procedures and colonoscopies and COVID. It absolutely contributed to my recovery from COVID. Hydration is key to feeling healthy, and there's never been a time when that could be more important. We're in the height of cold, flu season. Every headache has got you testing for COVID. Staying hydrated can keep the questionable symptoms at bay, and there's nothing better than Hydralyte to get it done. Taking their hydration formula one step further, now there is Hydralyte Plus Immunity. It starts with their fast-absorbing electrolytes and adds a host of great ingredients. Plus, each single-serve, easy-pour drink mix contains 1,000 milligrams of vitamin C and 300 milligrams of elderberry extract. Hydralyte Plus Immunity comes in convenient, easy-pour powder sticks that rapidly dissolve in water to make a great-tasting drink that has a 75% less sugar than your typical sports drink. It uses all-natural flavors. It's gluten-free, dairy-free, caffeine-free, non-GMO, and even vegan. Hydralyte Plus Immunity is also now available in ready-to-drink bottles at the Walmart next to the pharmacy, or as always, you can find it by visiting hydralyte.com/Dr. Drew. That is hydralyte.com/Dr. Drew. And be sure to use that code Dr. Drew 25 at checkout for a special discount. Back with Stephanie Matto. Is my mic on? Yes, there we go.
It's pretty funny. We get like the Restream does Twitch and YouTube, and I don't think Twitter's on here anymore, and Facebook, and it's just funny to watch all the comments on all the different platforms at the same time. They're pretty funny.
It's a different. There's different characters.
People like talking about this. It's just, they want to have fun with it.
Yeah, it's fun. But I want to talk a little more. I want to get off the farts for a
Let's
second.
talk about COVID.
No, I want to talk a little 90 Day Fiancé for a second because I know how reality shows are done. And I sit and I analyze some of the filming, and I'm trying to understand. I am guessing wherever you go, wherever you've elected to shoot, you have a producer in each of your ears, like each of you are getting whipped up by a producer. And there are probably 2 cameras in the room, right? He's shooting across 2 cameras. All right.
Yeah, sometimes there's 3.
Yeah, at least 2 cameras. And each camera has a guy running the cable and a sound guy. So you have 6 to 9 people plus the producers around you guys as you're trying to have these intimate encounters. Tell me, people don't know that. People that watch reality television sort of believe they're in the room with you magically or something. It's not magic. There's a whole, and there's a video village set up in your kitchen probably with five screens and directors and sound people and story people documenting everything you're doing and writing it all down. Am I right? So as you're talking about 14 people just to shoot a simple scene. Yeah. Yeah. So
Exactly.
what was that like? And yeah.
It's pretty strange, and a lot of the times you're told what the topic of discussion will be, And then, you know,
Mhm.
you're stopped a lot of the times if, you know, if you said something too quietly or if there was a truck passing by, you have to repeat what
Yeah.
you said.
Hold,
So yeah,
right?
exactly.
Sound guy goes, hold, truck, hold.
So
All
it's like
right,
the
wait,
least.
Stephanie's mic is out, needs a battery. Stephanie's mic needs a battery. Hold it. Yeah, I know you're about to have sex with your girlfriend. No, hold, battery. Yeah, right? It's so weird. I don't understand how you guys pull this off.
It's so unnatural. And then, you know, at the same time, you kind of feel because there's cameras on you, you're like, am I being myself? Or am I just like playing
Right.
a part that is myself? So
Yeah,
I
yeah.
feel like I start to like be very acty, and I get into my like YouTube mode when I see the cameras rolling, and
Yeah.
then I remind myself, I'm like, no, Steph, act real, act natural. This is reality TV, but it's so hard and it's such a mind fuck. But
Yeah.
I
But I would argue though, because what I see happens is because they stir everybody up into conflict, you end
Mhm.
up eventually forgetting about the cameras. You all of a sudden you're in it,
Yeah,
and so they
and I
kind of go away in spite of it. Say it
yeah,
again.
I drank a
And,
lot while I filmed, so that also helped me
uh-huh.
really get out of that that like, you know, being conscious of the cameras. And that was really the only way at one point that I was able to even continue filming and doing the show, because it was just so stressful for me that I needed to have
Mhm.
like a glass of wine, because it was just like one confrontational thing after another, and it was like so many
Mhm.
serious talks, and I'm not like a very confrontational person at all. I'm more of a sweep it under the
Mhm.
rug, or just like let's avoid the problem. So yeah, like
Mhm.
for me, it was not a fun vacation to Australia, that's for sure.
And it seemed like you know the your partner's reaction to that stressful environment was to make you responsible for everything. Is, you know, she sort of projected everything onto you.
Yeah, I think that we were just two different people with two very different ways of handling things. And she is an extremely, you know, sensitive person, and I can be kind of cold. And, you know, we just have different reactions to each other. And I think, I don't know, sometimes I'm like, I feel like we're from two different generations. She's, you know, super
Mm.
hypersensitive to every single thing. And I'm kind of like chill, you know? So I don't know. We just
Mm.
did not see eye to eye at all. And we saw that very early on. And I wish that the trip could have just been cut short. But obviously, you know, we had to be there for X amount of time. So so I stayed, and you know, we tried to make it work. We tried to make the most of it, but the longer I stayed, the worse it got, the more conflicts there were.
Yeah, it's people don't really understand how reality works. It's a very strange environment. It is, you know, lots of people in the room. It's like filming a movie almost, and and people have no sense that that's the case. And there is producers who are fucking with things constantly. With, you know, and you know, what was your girlfriend's name again? What was her name?
Erica. I'm
Yeah,
actually
there's a lot of
I'm in
you're right.
trouble with her now, actually. I did an interview earlier today for an Australian radio show, and I was asked some questions about her. And apparently, I didn't respond politely enough. So now she's posting on Instagram, like saying that I'm like
Beautiful.
talking shit about her. And I'm like, oh my
Yeah,
God.
we're not talking shit about her. I
No.
liked
I'm not
her. I thought she
talking
was
about
cute.
Yeah,
her,
she
but
was fun.
in a way, I fear talking about her, because you know, I don't want to stir up any old things, and
Well, no,
I
it's okay. We're not going to talk about it. What I want to say is, and the reason I bring up her name is, you had a producer in your ear going, Erica. I mean, sorry, Stephanie. Erica just said you're such a bitch, and then in Erica's ear, there's a separate producer going, Stephanie just said she's going to go home and she's not going to ever speak to you. I mean, they this is what they do. And when I was dealing with patients, actually sick people on Celebrity Rehab, I had to chase them all out. I was like, my God, these are people in a treatment program. You don't do that to sick people. And so, you know, enough happens. You'll be okay. Don't worry about it. But they still do it.
And some of the people on 90 Day Fiancé are pretty. They have some mental health problems too. Trust me.
Not these two.
It's not
some
good.
People, yeah.
Some of them. I didn't say all of them, but it has to be.
I think that like producers and shows need to be a lot more careful because, also the aftermath of filming, the show is hard enough. But then what comes with the airing of the show and the backlash and the bullying online, I mean, that could drive somebody literally to like, I don't even want to say, but
I've been wanting to do a show for a long time just called After Reality, because there's all kinds of repercussions down the road. I have another sort of producing question. I've noticed that there's we're going to use a little jargon here. There's things called OTFs, which were invented by, I don't know, Survivor or something. They're called on-the-fly interviews, and they're actually never on the fly. They sort of come over here, Stephanie, we're going to do OTFs now. My question, though, is, are those weeks later? Are those hours later? Or are they actually before the things actually play out? Because I could see all three things possibly happening.
I mean, I think every reality show does things differently. I think that, 90 Day Fiancé, they try to keep it as true as possible. So a lot of the OTFs, I mean, pretty much all of the ones that I've done were after, a full day of filming, which was usually exhausting. And like I remember there was one day we were on like an excursion in the middle of the ocean to go cage diving with great whites. We were there for like 12 hours, and then we had to do an OTF afterwards to talk about everything that went down. And it was brutal. It was so tiring.
So here's this is the phoniest of the phony part of reality. So they've had some huge conflict and shark dived or whatever they did, and now they go back to shore. They light a room and they go, Stephanie, what are you doing today? And it's like, I'm very excited because I'm going to go out with Eric on a great boat trip, even though all the shit that went down. And they're like, okay, say it again, like you didn't know what actually happened. You didn't know that the shark was going to attack you and you were going to swing at Erica or whatever happened. I don't know, but it's very weird, awkward. I've always thought OTFs were very, very strange, and they seem strange to me on 90 Day Fiancé too. More just because we're fans of the program, and we were fans of you on the program too. You're now doing the pillow talk, so I have kind of questions about that. Do they set up an automatic camera like by your television, or is there a production team in your house to film the pillow talk?
Inside information.
Yes. So during COVID, we actually filmed it ourselves, because people were not really allowed to come over, and then eventually, once COVID restrictions started to be lifted, there was like one or two people allowed to come over to the house and film it. So you had one camera person, one audio person, and sometimes like a production assistant. But it was like actually fun, and it felt very cozy. And I think out of all of like the reality things I've ever filmed, Pillow Talk feels the realest, because you're really just sitting down with snacks, watching the show and reacting to it.
Yeah, I agree. We used to like a show called On the Couch, which was just interesting people watching reality television and seeing their reaction. Remember that, Susan?
Yes. Yep, yeah. I do. I like that show.
What was it called? On the Couch? Something like that?
People's Couch.
People's Couch. Right. All right, let me look through
They're kind of pissed you guys took their idea, though. I know that as a fact.
What? Oh, who'd you hear that from?
From the people who are on the People's Couch.
The ones we had dinner with at Heather's?
Yeah. And I know, because I know a bunch of them. Remember I went on Below Deck with
I didn't know you're still in touch with everybody. I didn't know you're still in touch with
them. Well, no, but I know they're kind of butthurt about it.
Interesting.
That was a good show, though.
I'm looking through our Restream chat to see if anybody has other specific questions. And
Stephanie,
Susan,
so like those scenes,
Caleb.
like those scenes whenever they're like introducing you with the other, the other person that's on with you, do they, like whenever sometimes it's like you're all smiling together, and then other ones where you're angry and your backs are to each other and your arms are crossed.
Yeah.
Because my wife and I, when we watch the show, it's like we can almost predict, they're going to get in a fight because the two of you are facing away with your arms crossed. Do you just like film
but is that all
those
done
in a
in
line?
one?
right beforehand, and you just have, we have to be angry at each other now. Or how did or do they do it like break them up into different clips whenever you actually are mad at each other?
Yeah, so I'm trying to remember, like, because that whole entire time that I was filming in Australia feels like such a blur. But I think there were like 1 or 2 days that we did those shots, and they got a few different options because it's like, it kind of helps split between the scenes. When you go from couple to couple, helps to
They
organize.
essentially did it all at once, Caleb. All at once.
Right,
That's
right.
It. Be
So it's
mad,
like-
be loving, be cool, be funny.
You know
do
it's
whatever.
coming, so it's like you guys are gonna fight at some time. So just make your mad faces and turn away from each other now.
In Australia,
It didn't work out.
It was so bad there because there were so many flies. So we had to stand very, very still, but we were being like bombarded with flies. So like, there were flies landing on our faces. It was awful.
Oh.
This is all. I hope this is interesting to people,
Showbiz.
because it's just very interesting to me that these things are how we've learned to create and produce these things, and then what people actually think they're seeing. Of course, I work with the teen moms, and that's one of the shows that really people think they are in those people's lives. They think they know them, and oftentimes the girls, not even girls anymore, the women and their husbands are seeing footage 6 months later. They'd already forgotten about everything that had happened, yet the Twitterverse is seeing it for the first time and starting to react to it. I'm guessing that's kind of a disorienting experience as well.
My gosh, I think that's the worst part, is having to relive it over again.
Yeah.
And then, I did another show after called Strikes Back, where I had to rewatch my season and then react to it. So it's like I literally had to go through it 3 times. So it was like I couldn't move on. You try to move on from sometimes the trauma of what happens on the show, but you just can't. So yeah, and then I went through it all during the pandemic, during lockdown. It was 2020. So it couldn't have been worse timing.
Did you get depressed?
I think so. Yeah. I mean, I handled it okay. I don't really I don't get depressed. I just go like completely catatonic sometimes, where I'm just like a zombie, where I just don't feel anything. I don't cry. I don't get sad. I just kind of exist and just, wake up, do what I have to do, and go to sleep. And then afterwards I'll look back and I'll be like, oh wow, I think I was depressed during that time.
Yeah.
Because I was emotionally.
That's numbing, right? We numb, and it's kind of a trauma symptom. Did you have a childhood trauma when you were growing up?
I think that I had a pretty erratic childhood. I moved around a lot. I didn't really have much stability as far as where I was living. I moved around a lot with my mom, and my father wasn't present for a lot of my life. So yeah, I think my life felt very crazy all the time.
Yeah.
So
the chaos is not good for kids. And do you have a relationship with your dad now?
So I established a relationship with my father in my teens, and then he passed away suddenly when I was 23.
Jeez.
So
Oh my gosh.
that happened. And then at 23, I moved to Los Angeles to become an actress, and I kind of was spiraling mentally. I became an exotic dancer for like a year as like a form of I think self-sabotage, because I was just, going crazy in my own head. And so, yeah, my 20s were pretty turbulent, and then I got sick to top it all off. So, it was a very,
it sounds terrible.
Yeah, but I think now I feel good.
Yeah. Yeah, you seem good. And the exotic dancing, again, I worry about your relationship with men, because I interviewed many exotic dancers, and they lose something towards men, with respect or whatever it is. It diminishes their ability to see men as good people, frankly.
So why, Drew? What are these places like? I want to know.
We're going to take you in Austin.
Drew wants to take me to a strip club to experience it.
I haven't been to one since my bachelor party 35 years ago, and so I am
Drew's pushing for it, but I can't get the booth boys to go.
No, I just thought it'd be interesting to bring Susan to one.
Well, we could go.
Oh, you and I? Not with. Oh my God. Which should we?
I don't know what it's like. You're explaining this like because men are just kind of like dogs and they just are disgusting, and you have to experience that, or because being a dancer, you kind of enjoy the power of it.
Well, go ahead, Stephanie. What do you know what I'm talking about? That it sort of depletes your ability to kind of. I don't know. Go ahead. You tell me.
I think for me, it gave me some serious trust issues that I still carry to this day, because I witnessed not men really being dogs, because, everyone's a pervert. I can be a pervert, whatever. It's fine. I like looking at titties too. But I think it's just the idea of a man coming in and, sitting down with me and showing me a picture of his wife and beautiful kids and saying how much he adores them, and then taking me back to the VIP booth and trying to like sexually assault me. So, experiencing things like that can really just, mess with your head to show you like, wow, some people can really have this facade and have this really, really dark side. So
that's traumatic for you.
Yeah, it has been. But that just means that when I meet somebody new, when I start dating somebody new, it just takes me longer to vet them, to really, feel like I really know them. So some people, they meet somebody a few months later, they feel like they know them. For me, it's like I need to know somebody for years to really feel like I know them. And people that I date need to understand that it takes me a lot of time, and I don't just give away trust willingly and easily.
That's not a bad trait.
It's not a bad thing as long as you can trust. Some people get to the point where they can't trust. Annie, are you still over on the Restream? Yeah. And so if you can, it just takes a while. That's fine. That's good. And not necessarily, and that's adaptive too. It's not necessarily bad.
That happened to me once in a bar. Drew and I were with another couple, and then he had to go do radio or something. And I was by the bar, and this guy walked up and he showed me pictures of his kid, and he goes, "Do you want to fuck?" And I was like, "What? You just showed me pictures of your kids." He's like, "Yeah, they live in Jersey. I'm here. I have a little place around the corner." I was like, "No, I don't. Thanks, but thanks for the offer." I was just so shocked. And then I told Drew, I go, "I can't believe this guy did that." I know, and they do it a lot. I mean, men do it in all. You can do that just in any bar in town.
It's very weird. Now back to the teen mom group. I had somebody gave me a comment that said that Farrah's business inspired you a bit, or Farrah was inspired by you. Which is that?
Oh, yeah. So I noticed that after my fart jar thing went viral, that a story pertaining to Farrah Abraham went viral, and that she was, trying to sell her feces in a jar. And I actually personally messaged Farrah to ask her about that, and she denied it, and she said that she's not. So that's the tea. Farrah's not selling poop in a jar. But she did come onto my platform. She's now a creator on my platform that I founded, Unfiltered, and she does, her sexy content on there. So that I think is pretty cool. She's a very interesting person.
She is an interesting person. I told her
she's a hustler too.
Yeah, she is. And I told her when
in a good way,
when she left Teen Mom, I told her, I said, I will miss you. We've been with you a long time and a lot of intense experiences. And I noticed she almost cried when I said that. And but I have missed her. I have. And she's a handful. She's challenging, but I she's we like Farrah.
She's challenging.
She is very challenging.
Yeah.
But a lot of people
I think she and I have in common, I think. And I definitely like the fact that she's very unashamed to be herself. And she's just, she just is who she is. So I think that's pretty cool.
Let's take, you want to take a couple calls here? See what people are thinking. This is off Clubhouse. This is Miriam, I think. I'm getting that right. Let's see if we can get Miriam up here.
Miriam, come to the phone.
Yeah. We've got to figure out a way.
Let a couple people up at once and then see who gets there first.
All right. I will do that. This is.
We get our calls on Clubhouse for anybody that's interested. you can sign up on Clubhouse, and then you can be on the show.
Annie's in here. Let's bring Annie up.
Annie.
Yep, Annie, you're up.
Annie's gonna kill us.
Come on, buddy. Get up here. I put in a request for you to come to the podium. And by the way, if you do come up to ask a question, you're on Restream, Twitter, Twitch, Facebook, YouTube. You have multiple platforms. We're going.
Annie's gonna run like hell. He doesn't like farts.
Annie, I gave you a request to come up.
He's being obstinate. He doesn't like this topic.
No, he's raised his hand.
Oh.
There he is. Oh, sorry, and he can't join right now. It says.
Oh,
Miriam, no.
Maybe he's got a job. He doesn't want I don't know.
Right.
Everybody's afraid to talk about farts. No.
Let's talk to Josh. Josh, what's going on?
Josh.
Hey, Dr. Drew.
Hey.
I just was really curious from a psychological perspective, the whole farting thing and receiving farts and giving farts. And it makes me think of sadomasochism.
Yeah. Well, that's exactly what she was telling us, is that there's this world of financial dominance. That's exactly right. And what, do you want to answer that a little bit, Stephanie? I think that's what you were going towards.
Mm-hmm. So I think a lot of men like to feel like they're being taken advantage of by a beautiful woman, and like the feeling of being bled dry kind of goes in line with the stomping on balls, being a cuckold, that sort of thing. So I think that for a lot of men who are purchasing the jars of farts, it's not really the farts themselves, it's the fact that they feel like they're kind of being taken advantage of financially. That's 100%.
With Chris, what's going on?
Hi there. Sorry, I'm running into my room because my children are fighting. I have one question. What made you decide on this particular item? Why farts?
Men were asking for it. Men were demanding it. Right? That's we talked. You came late to the thread. Go ahead. Review that, Stephanie.
Yeah, so I mean, I've been getting requests for a very long time for, people wanting to smell my farts. I just always thought it was a joke until one day I just said, okay, well, let me check them up for sale, see what happens, and they ended up selling.
Well, bravo. I mean, you made money. I was just, half of my life kind of revolves around the people around me passing gas, and you found a way to monetize it. Good for you.
Thank you.
Chris, thanks. We'll move you back
Chris
to the audience.
Chris is going to start her own business.
I'm trying to move through.
Baby farts.
Yeah.
She's got like 4 kids.
This is Mikey, I think. Mikey wants to come on up here.
And he ran for the hills.
He's still here. He just sent me a little note, and he can't make it up to the podium, right? He's not
yeah, it's okay.
All right.
Maybe he's working. He's like, what is this? He came on. Oh my God, so funny. I know.
Okay, I'm gonna try another one. I'm not sure what the name is here. But I'm gonna, and if we don't get some calls up here, we're gonna wrap up the Clubhouse part of this pretty
well,
quickly.
we have some emails. I don't know if they're really appropriate for this. This would be
Those are those emails you showed
yeah,
me?
they don't go with
Those
the
are a little
subject
more.
matter.
Those are a little more tough.
Nothing. I sent all the fart jokes over to After Dark, so I should have kept a couple of those.
I'm curious.
I get a lot of emails about people's farts.
All right. Hey, guys.
For their shits.
I think what I'm going to have to do, because something is going cuckoo with the Clubhouse.
Well, they can continue to listen. We don't have to take their questions.
All right. Let me see where I was here with Stephanie and all her stuff.
You can.
Susan, do you have any further questions?
I think
was that interesting to you about the 90-day fiance?
Here's what I like. My takeaway, just as a woman. So, if I had the internet and YouTube and stuff like this when I was in my 20s and 30s, it would have been so much fun for me. Like I would have been doing all this kind of stuff, and I would try to do it with dignity, so it wouldn't be too, you know what I mean? I wouldn't be a porn star necessarily and have photos of myself naked or anything, but I would definitely use my femininity to get myself a way of life. I would have loved to have made a couple $100,000 in, a year selling farts, or 6 months, or I don't know how long it was for you, but but it just cracks me up. I love the entrepreneurship.
And again, make notes here.
I love I just find it fascinating that, reality stars can take it to the next level and keep going and have media life and do it while you still got the looks, because you can't keep it forever. But even though there are guys that like older women, I can attest to that because I get hit on the internet all the time. But you just keep doing what you do and just don't worry about what people say, and just be
Well,
your
I'm
true self.
going to put a caveat on it.
Unless it's going to be harmful to your mental health.
Right. Be careful about that numbing.
Well, that's why I'm saying like
and the
nudity
depleting
and
and the being consistent with your value system. And you have to really be honest with yourself, and and making sure your physical health is looked after, because you've had obviously serious stuff with that.
No, of course. I mean, you don't want to hurt yourself. That's the whole point. Like
that's a line that I have to tiptoe every day is, doing what I do, make the money to sustain the life that I've built for myself, but also not jeopardizing my mental health, my family relationships, and not doing things that make me feel uncomfortable.
And you don't want to hurt, you don't want to, and I know you don't want to hurt other people. That's all. And
yes,
I think it's a navigation. I get it. I get it. All right. Well,
I have
listen,
a question.
It's been really a fun talk. Oh, Caleb, here we go.
Yeah, I was just thinking about this. So I know, because you've been on both sides of it. You've done the YouTube stuff, and you've also done, reality TV and all of that. Well, my wife and I, we met through YouTube back in the old days. And so we did this daily vlogging thing, which is kind of like a self-produced reality show in a way. But eventually we stopped doing that because we started to wonder, like, are we going to Disneyland because we want to spend time together, or are we going there just because we want to film a bunch of content and get a bunch of views online? And so do you think that it's easier to maintain that genuine relationship when you're the person that's holding the camera and filming it, or is it actually easier whenever you have a crew that's following you around and picking out the scenes and all the stuff that goes into it? Like, which one makes it easier for you?
I think it's so much better to be the one who has the control of the camera, because then you can always control when you put it down and when you stop. And I think that's what's like most important. You're the one editing, you're the one that has the full, manipulation and control. So that's why, at this point going forward, I kind of see my reality TV days as numbered, and I would love to just go back to doing YouTube, but always having just still my private life, because that's important too.
Right. That makes sense. Yeah, I like that.
TV, the reality, again, another just sort of assessment of reality television. It's hyper reality. It's not reality. It's hyper reality. While YouTube stuff is closer to reality. Again, you don't have all the lights and the producers and the conflict generation and the scene setups and then go.
And your wife making you talk to a woman who sells fart jars.
Well, that's reality stuff.
I'm a producer.
Yeah, but that's the more reality part. If this were somewhere else, it was still on a reality set, there would be 9 people here in the room with us. There'd be 4, typically 3 or 4 writing producers, story producers, writing down everything we say, and then a room of a sound guy, a director, an assistant director, and that would all be in our kitchen somewhere.
Trying to cut.
And then there'd be producers coming in and going, hold on. Do that again. Come on. She told you you're a bitch. Come on, let's go. You want to be on the show or not?
No, I know. No, you just have a team of 4 here trying to make you look bad. No, you're not looking bad. This was really fun. And I just appreciate the opportunity to get to meet you and see how creative you are and fun. I like fun.
Oh, thank you.
And we
and maybe a little sexuality is not so bad.
Go ahead.
Yeah, for sure.
So we and we're fans of the show. We're fans of yours, and so that'd be fun.
Sorry, I cut her off.
And we heard all about that your business endeavor, and thought fascinating story, and people want to hear about it.
Did you pitch it to Michelle, or did she just find her?
I think I did.
You pitched it.
No,
yeah.
I didn't pitch. I said, please get Stephanie. I need to talk to Stephanie, because it was when Stern Yeah, Howard Stern was talking about you, and I thought, oh, that's interesting to talk to her.
Yeah.
And he wasn't a fan of the show, so he didn't really know kind of what was going on. And I thought, oh, we're fans, and so this would be really interesting.
That's so cool.
Let me ask you this. Is there anybody, do you interact with other cast members?
Yeah, all the time. I am actually planning a little girls trip with 2 other female cast members. There's a lot of 90 Day cast members that I consider actually pretty good friends that I talk to on like a weekly basis.
Is there anyone you'd recommend I speak to who's got an interesting story and has interesting experience with this?
I think, let's say, I mean, there's Big Ed, of course, who's like the
you're friendly with
poster
Ed?
child. He's definitely someone to talk to. His relationship with his fiance, that's something you should definitely dissect on your show because it's pretty strange.
Right.
They're a huge gap couple, so
okay,
it's
good.
quite weird.
Ed,
But
I'll go after Ed. Anybody else? Maybe you're.
I think I'm on currently the season of 90 Day Single Life, and Debbie, she's Colt's mom, and she's an older
Colty's
woman,
mom.
and she's trying to have sex and date again. So that'd be something I think cool to discuss.
That
on
actually
the
would be
show.
really interesting. It would be really interesting because she was also an exotic dancer of types back. She was a quote go-go dancer back in the day. Do you not know that?
Yeah.
Oh, she was. You got to see the pictures.
She was cute.
She was amazing, and in Vegas, I think if I got that right. And then also she has a hormonal replacement story that I think is.
Oh, she did.
Yeah,
that's what happened.
So
that's
we
why
should.
She wants to get back
we should
in
talk
again.
to Debbie. So Colty's mom and Ed, we should get our hands on those guys.
Do you want to book our show?
All right. Well, listen, Stephanie, it was a pleasure to talk to you. Thank you for playing along, and good luck with the NFT. Again, it's what is it? fartjarsnft.com, fartjars. And give us again your Instagram and websites.
My Instagram is Stepanka Matto, Stepanka Matto, Matto. And I think that's pretty much, where you'll find me. You'll see all my other links for my social media on there.
And I'm guessing Stepanko is Czech for Stephanie.
Yes, my Czech name.
Yeah. So say goodbye to us now in Czech as well.
Děkuji moc krát a dobrý večer. Ciao.
All right, Stephanie. Great to meet you. Take care.
Ciao.
Ciao, ciao.
Thank you.
All right. You bet.
You're welcome.
So there you
So
go.
it's
Susan.
funny.
Yeah.
We will get back to tougher subjects
Well, of
like the
course.
opioid epidemic and other things of that sort.
We've
Sorry,
got a
we just wanted to have a little fun today.
We are going to have fun here and there. That's the way it goes. And we have a bunch of emails that I'm going to be responding to probably, what do you think, Monday? No, maybe.
I had a bunch of emails like that. I'll
try to
picked out
merge.
for you.
Yeah, we've got a bunch of them we're going to print up and go over with people. So thank you for sending those. And yeah,
we have
a
a show tomorrow too. So
we do.
maybe we can do one or two at the end if it's
Yes, I think that's probably a good idea for tomorrow.
we have the divorce guy tomorrow, right?
Correct. Marilyn Chinitz.
Divorce attorney is
She divorce attorney? Yeah.
We'll get back to the good stuff.
The painful stuff. Get back to it. Okay. Well, thank you all for being here. Thank you for being on the restream. I'm gonna wrap. Well, I won't wrap the clubhouse just yet, but I will remember to wrap the clubhouse up.
Yeah, before you go on and fart.
Yeah, we appreciate you guys being here, and we will see you tomorrow at, I believe, 3:00. Yep, tomorrow at 3. We also have. Oh no, he's not coming in here. We also have
Somebody just said
Monday. It's gonna be a little bit later, maybe with Chad and JT, our guys. If you remember those, the cool guys.
Well, they haven't booked yet, but maybe next week.
All right.
We have a couple. We have some people.
And I've got Dr. Arthur Kaplan coming back on Thursday, the medical ethicist.
And he thought it was funny when I said the divorce guy.
Divorce guy.
LOL.
All right, guys. We'll see you.
Not ready for that yet.
Thank you, Caleb. Thank you, Susan. We'll see you tomorrow at 3. Daddy Dom little girl.
Daddy Dom little girl, yeah.
What is that?
It's I mean it's a like spectrum like anything else, but it's like girls that like being treated like little, like it can go all the way to like babies.
And they have baby talk and stuff.
Oh yeah, it can go there.
Okay. And so listen. Shh.
Sorry, I'm not meaning to shame. I'm
Be
sorry,
respectful of the expert.
You're right.
Let the man speak about his
I'm
craft.
up. My bad. I take it all back. I'm sorry.
He's sharing his craft with us.
It's not my craft. crap.
Be respectful.
I just know about it.
Be very respectful. Ask Dr. Drew is produced by Caleb Nation and Susan Pinsky. As a reminder, the discussions here are not a substitute for medical care, diagnosis, or treatment. This show is intended for educational and informational purposes only. I am a licensed physician, but I am not a replacement for your personal doctor, and I am not practicing medicine here. Always remember that our understanding of medicine and science is constantly evolving. Though my opinion is based on the information that is available to me today, some of the contents of this show could be outdated in the future. Be sure to check with trusted resources in case any of the information has been updated since this was published. If you or someone you know is in immediate danger, don't call me, call 911. If you're feeling hopeless or suicidal, call the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline at 800-273-8255. You can find more of my recommended organizations and helpful resources at Dr.